In continuation of my series on the demon lords of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. In today's video, we'll learn about the tragic life of the earthquake Dagruel, how he came to exist in the world and what he had to do just to protect the people he cares about. We'll also be exploring his powers and abilities as well along with the race of giants found in the Tensura world. As usual, this video will contain spoilers for the story, so here's a warning just in case, and if you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well. To start, who is the earthquake Dagruel? While he is a member of the Octagram and one of the 3 true giants that exist in the Tensura world. And going over his origins, he was actually a being born from the planet itself, the literal personification of the earth, and he used to share a single body with 2 of his younger brothers, Glassord and Fenn, as they often rampage across the world wanting to claim the planet for themselves. And during this period, they were called Asura, the Mad King of the Giants and the God of Destruction. However, when they had challenged the Star King Dragon Valdanava and tried to kill him, they were ultimately defeated, and Valdanava would seal away their powers by splitting Asura into 3 separate entities, Dagruel, Glassord and Fenn. But despite having their powers weakened, the 3 brothers still continued their campaign against Valdanava, although at a lesser capacity, mainly fighting against the Angels of Valdanava. But over time, Dagruel and his brother Glassord decided to renounce their malevolent ambitions to conquer the planet except for Fenn, who still held on to his destructive nature, so Valdanava was forced to seal him away with a godly chain Sklepnir inside the Heavenly Star Palace. And to prevent Fenn from being released, Dagruel was tasked by Valdanava to be the protector of the Heaven's Tower, the only physical gateway that leads into the Heavenly Star Palace. Additionally, Dagruel was also given the Holy Void Damagania along with the territory surrounding the Heaven's Tower to govern, and later it would become the home for the giant race. So regarding the giants, the race itself was created by the divine ancestor Twilight Valentine when he analyzed the body of Fenn, and the twins Kisara and Basara were the results, the progenitors of the race. That said, giants were blessed with vitality, being able to live up to 500 years old, and in some cases, certain giants can even reincarnate as their offspring, retaining all the memories and powers from their previous self. The process can sometimes repeat as well over multiple generations, and with each increasing their overall lifespan. Normally, this type of long-living giants are called greater giants, and this can be considered as one of the evolutionary stages of the race. In addition to that, giants are normally around 2 to 2.5 meters tall, but they possess the ability called titanification, which allows them to physically alter their sizes to multiple times their original size. It was for this reason that giants are mostly physical-based fighters, using their strength to overwhelm opponents, and they normally prefer to fight barehanded or with club weapons. Furthermore, there are actually other variants that spawn from the giant race itself, such as giant ogres, cyclops, and hecatoncres. Another important aspect about giants is their inherent resistance and ability to negate all things magic thanks to their intrinsic skill, magic nullification, although only true giants and greater giants possess this ability. And magic nullification isn't a perfect defense either because magical attacks that harness nihilistic energy from the void can still harm them. With that explained, Dagruel will become the king of giants after he defeated the twins Kisara and Basara in battle. He even took Kisara as his wife, and they'll have 3 sons together, the oldest Dagura, the second Ryura, and Debira being the youngest one. Unfortunately, Kisara had passed away during childbirth, which left Dagruel devastated, and because Basara went on a rampage after hearing this news, Dagruel was forced to seal him away. But following this tragedy, Dagruel was able to befriend Twilight Valentine, and the latter would often boast about Luminous Valentine and how she was his greatest creation. But Dagruel never learned what made Luminous so special because Twilight was eventually killed by her. That's why Dagruel always held a grudge against her and had wished to avenge his friend. In any case, Dagruel's territory was completely devastated when Milim Nava had fought against Gi Crimson because the residual energy from the battle was so potent that it changed the entire landscape into a barren desert. And even though Dagruel has managed to expel all the magical energy into another dimension, it was still leaking back into the world, which caused deadly magically infused sandstorms and is slowly spreading further across the land. However, Dagruel could not leave his position at the Heaven's Tower, and with the once prosperous cities of the giants destroyed, Dagruel was forced to move his people underground where they were able to rebuild a new settlement centered around the lake that was located beneath the Holy Void Damagania. Also thanks to the natural barriers surrounding the Heaven's Tower, the giants were protected from the sandstorms, but because the area could no longer sustain life for agriculture, Dagruel had to often send young men and women across the deadly desert to help secure food and other resources. It was for this reason that Dagruel always desired to invade and conquer the lands belonging to Luminous, not only as a way to save his people but to avenge his friend Twilight as well. And yet Dagruel has avoided direct conflict with her because, like I said, he was responsible for the defense of the Heaven's Tower. Nevertheless, following the battle between Guy and Milim, Dagruel was invited to join the Demon Council as the 4th member, and surprisingly, he is one of the few members that has only a Demon in name. And it was mainly because giants are beings aligned with the holy element similar to the primordial angels, so he could not even acquire a Demon seed. And during his time on the council, he was able to become good friends with the fallen primordial angel Dino, even allowing Dino to live in his home, although he did eventually kick the freeloader out in the far future. Additionally, when the Storm Dragon Valdora was born, Dagruel often had sparring sessions with him, but there was never a clear winner because whenever Valdora gets seriously pressured or threatened, he would always run away from the fight. That's why Dagruel had little respect for Valdora even though he is a true dragon. Now then, Dagruel made his official appearance in Season 2 of the anime during Walpurgis, but after the banquet, he was mostly absent from the story at least until Volume 18 of the light novel. Although when Rimuru was preparing for the Tempest Founders Festival, Dagruel would send his 3 sons to the Monster Nation, and he did this because his sons never had any real fighting experience or skills despite being strong in overall power, so he had hoped that Rimuru would help train his sons. Also, Dagruel had personally refused to train his sons because he had feared that they might commit the same sin or parasite like Luminous. Regardless, when Dagruel's sons arrived in Tempest, they were promptly defeated by Shion and they would become her disciples. Having said that, when Phantom King Felway and the Manas Michael declared war on the world, Dagruel had received reinforcements from Rimuru in the form of the Purple Primordial Ultima along with Veyron and Zonda. When they arrived in Damagania, Rimuru would help install a magic transfer circuit, and Dagruel was quite impressed by it because he realized that once the technology gets more developed, his people would no longer have to worry about resources and basic commodities. It was for this reason that Dagruel greatly admired and respected Rimuru for his ingenuity. Moving on, Damagania will eventually be attacked by Felway's forces, which comprise of Leon Cromwell, Dino, Gracia, Hiko, and Fenn, who has been released by Felway. When the battle started, Dagruel will be fighting Fenn, but he was getting overwhelmed by his younger brother because Fenn was actually stronger when it came to overall raw power. And their battle was so intense that the pressure of their fighting spirit alone was able to cause the entire Heaven's Tower to tremble. And halfway through the battle, Dagruel decided to join Felway after seeing Fenn's memory about the deal that he made. Once the Luminous is defeated, all the Western lands and the Great Jura Forest will become Dagruel's domain. This reminded Dagruel about the territorial ambitions that he once possessed and how the resources in Damagania were almost depleted, so with no other choices left, he chose to betray Rimuru even if he was stigmatized as a traitor and gambled everything on a full-scale invasion of the Holy Empire Lubelius. With that, Dagruel gathered his Chain Titan army, which has a total of 30,000 giant warriors, all with threat levels at the B+ rank, while another 1,000 they are all above the A rank. Additionally, there's another group of 100 elite warriors, all at the level of the Special A, and they are led by the 5 warrior generals who also possess the same ranks. And to help Dagruel lead his forces, his deputy commanders were Fenn and Glassord, but he will release Basara as well. The 3 of them were super awakened individuals, with Fenn possessing an existence value of 60 million, while Glassord was at 2 million and Basara at 1 million. As for Dagruel himself, his existence value was around 40 million, although in his Asura form, the existence value is well over 110 million. Now to continue, my Furuki will help teleport Dagruel's entire army to the Long War, where they will engage Luminous and the Damon's forces. And despite losing almost 50% of the Chain Titan army early on due to the combined attacks of Adalman and Ghidorah, the momentum soon shifted to Dagruel's side once his brothers and Basara had joined the fighting. Also, Dagruel would eventually make his way to the top of the Long Wall as well using Time Stop, where he easily took Shion down with a single punch. However, Dagruel would be caught inside the trap of Luminous and he was blasted with Sanctuary Disintegration, the same attack that killed Twilight, but thanks to his magic nullification, he completely negated the damage. Dagruel then proceeds to fight Luminous, Shion, Ghidorah and his 3 sons all at the same time, and throughout the fight he was barely even using his true strength because to give you an idea of how insanely strong Dagruel actually is, he's described to be the ultimate life form, a being comparable to that of the true dragons. That's why he is able to fight against individuals with ultimate level skills, because his existence itself is already a counter and even his intrinsic skills are that of the ultimate level. And to explain, he is in possession of 5 such skills. The first is called Hardening Transformation, which allows Dagruel to coat his entire body with a powerful fighting aura that can repel most types of attacks and weapons, even at the mythical grade. Next is Destruction of All Things, and he can basically imbue his attacks with destructive energy capable of generating a force strong enough to interfere with the earth and atmosphere itself. Then we have Attribute Neutralization, giving him the ability to negate or counteract certain elemental properties. Quick Wave is the 4th known skill, and once activated, Dagruel can release a powerful directional tidal blast capable of destroying even molecular bonds. And the last skill is Magic Nullification, which I explained earlier in the video. Back to the fight, Dagruel was bored with the tactics, so he easily took down all 5 of them, leaving only Luminous standing. And he would activate Time Stop, but before he could kill Luminous, Valdra arrives to stop him, although they'll only start fighting after Dagruel dealt with Xion. Because apparently no matter how many times he defeats or kills her, even using one of his strongest anti-personnel technique, Maelstrom Buster, she always manages to come back, and there was even a point in the fight where she manages to make Dagruel bleed and force him down on his knees. And rather than being angered by this, Dagruel will acknowledge the strength and tenacity of Xion. That said, Dagruel decides to get serious, so he calls for his brothers, and breaking the seal that separated them, the mythical god of destruction Asura would return once more. And using the skill Titanification, they grew to the size of a dragon, so Valdra transformed into his dragon mode as well. But before they fought, Asura ordered their forces to retreat because just from the overwhelming haki of Asura and Valdra alone was enough to cause the literal heavens to tremble and extreme weather to start forming. When the fighting started, Asura was mostly gathering their energy for a powerful one-shot kill attack while also gauging Valdra's strength with simple attacks, whereas Valdra was constantly using cheap tricks and attacks like creating illusions to annoy them. But then Asura will release Quasar Break, Dagruel's strongest attack, which traps Valdra inside a dimensional space, and releasing a destructive pseudo-black hole that consumes everything within this space. However, they are surprised to find that Valdra has managed to escape from the attack, although he was still heavily injured while Asura has depleted almost 70% of their magical levels. And Dagruel would praise Valdra for how much he has changed, and Dagruel was even happy that he could finally acknowledge Valdra as his rival. So using Super Godification, Asura compressed all their remaining energy and returned to a size of just under 25 meters. Again, Valdra would match Asura by transforming into his human form, and the battle soon turned into a good old-fashioned fist fight, but each of their punches was still powerful enough to shatter any matter in the world. Ultimately, Asura lost when Valdra activated Fertile Paradox, and the skill would separate them back to their individual bodies, while also burying them inside the trunk of a large tree. That's because Fertile Paradox is not actually an attack but rather a power of healing, and it was using the three brothers as a nucleus to revitalize the entire barren desert. And once the land is healed, Dagruel will no longer have a reason to invade Luminous's territory, but news soon came from Valgrind that Milim, who was being controlled by Feltway, was currently attacking the Heaven's Tower. Luckily, Valgrind has managed to teleport the citizens of Damagania away, and with Luminous agreeing to accept the refugees into a country, Dagruel will finally make peace with her. However, because Dagruel and his brothers were about to be sealed away, he ordered the surviving Chain Titan army to now follow the orders of his son Dagura, and they will join forces with Luminous as everyone prepared for the imminent return of the world-destroying dragon Ivarash and the cryptic incursion.
Giant, Earthquake, Dagruel-sama.
But yeah, that's everything we know about Dagruel along with the giant race in general, and honestly, I feel bad for him, having to experience so much grief while also trying to save his people from extinction. And despite not being featured prominently in the story, Dagruel is a character that is surprisingly nuanced and well written. But what are your thoughts on this gentle and misunderstood giant? Do you like his character, and did I miss anything else regarding him? Feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, remember to subscribe to the channel as well, and hit that notification button for more content like this in the future. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe everyone.